here. I'm an infrared and traditional sauna expert of the last 14 years, and I'm a broker dealer for many brands. So if you ever need any guidance, just let me know. My email address is below in the description box of the video. Again, reach out to me anytime. So in this video, somebody asked me to do a quick comparison between the Good Health Saunas 2-person. It's a GHS 2X hybrid. Hybrid meaning there's a couple different types of heating elements in here. Got the carbon, and then we have a type of alloy heating element. As you can see, see that down here, right here, the little tube on the right-hand side. Okay, it's kind of a version. It's like another version of a tube-in-coloy rod type of heater. That's the proper industry term. Anyways, that type of heater we're going to actually talk about in this video and compare it to the Sunlighten Sauna Amplify II. Amplify II meaning 2-person. Anyway, so let's jump into it here. So if you've seen these types of heaters, and this is not the only company to use this type of heater, it is also, it's a confusing term, but you'll see other sauna companies use these types of heaters that have usually the metal grates in front of it, and they'll refer to them as full spectrum heaters. Just throw that term out because it's going to actually confuse you. Really, if you look at the wavelength distribution report for these types of heating elements, most of their energy, the majority, is going to be in the middle range infrared, so like IRB is the term, and IRA as well, so A and B, and A is more near spectrum. So we're just kind of, I like to refer to these types of heaters, which again, other companies use. Clear Light Sanctuary throws a couple of these in, and a bunch of other brands. Anyways, they refer to it, by the way, other companies also refer to, when they're putting these couple different types of heaters in, as hybrid saunas. That also is confusing because originally hybrid sauna, and it still means this, but usually it was a traditional like stove convection heater, like a traditional Finnish sauna with you know, where you put the rocks on top and stuff. So normally it was that type of heater and some type of infrared emitter. It could be like a ceramic, or it could be carbons, and that was really more, for many years, what was known as a hybrid sauna. But now hybrid can also mean not a traditional sauna. Okay, there's no stove in here, right? So some companies use that term hybrid, which is still, it's justifiable, you know, because there's two different types of heating elements in here technically. But they'll usually reference that with these short, I call them short wave infrared emitters, because that's really the more accurate way to talk about these types of heaters. So most saunas that are using the shortwave heaters, they're going to do a few things. One is a couple of them are going to recess them into the walls, see behind you on the bench. They don't do it with Good Health Saunas, but I'm just pointing out some companies will take that type of heater and recess it into the wall. So instead of carbon, they'll put it back there behind you. Okay, just a couple brands, not many, will do that. It does exist. And then a lot of the other ones, the greater amount of options you see, they'll do exactly what Good Health Sauna is doing here. They'll put it in the front door, right, or next to the door on the front wall. Okay, so when that door closes, it's facing straight on right here on this part of the bench and right here, right? Does that make sense? That's very common. In the case of, I think, Clear Light Sanctuary, they mount them on the glass, which is a little unusual versus like inside of a wood frame door. But either way, the effect is exactly the same. So that's common place to find these. Sometimes you'll find them like back here on the back of the calf as well, whatever. I like the heaters. They're good to have in there along with carbon. No problem at all. You know, you can definitely have it in there. However, here's my critique or opinion, because this was a comparison video, right, to a different brand. Most of the sauna companies, again, that are doing hybrids like this, they mount them just like you see here. Really, these heaters can be therapeutic. However, imagine now that the door closes. These heaters are just not ideally positioned. Ideally, like if you were the only one in this 2-person sauna, you'd want to sit more in the corner of the sauna. Okay, one is to get more of the carbon on your right-hand side in this example, right, and the back. And then also to be more in line with this shortwave heater right here. Does that make sense? In front of you. But it's still lower down the wall, right? So this is where your knees are going to be and your shins. Okay. That's going to be, you know, irradiating a lot of that area of your body. Here's what I think is the best hybrid layout. Now, from the exterior, this is, by the way, one of the more well-known brands in the industry. From the exterior, it looks like a regular carbon sauna, obviously, but we have to take a look. You can see a little bit on the 3D here. I love this thing. That's so cool. But you can see more of the interior layout when you get down further in the photos here. So let's have a little zoom in. Okay. So this is looking at one side of the sauna. Okay. So this is the left side of the sauna. And you see how that tower is actually mounted on the floor there. See that? The short wave heater. It's mounted on the floor. Okay. And it's very tall as well. This is in much closer proximity. And see how it's angled? See the angle? It's like a triangle, right? So it's angling at the bench. That's not the only one. There's another one right here on the right-hand side, which you can't see. But we can in this photo. I love this photo right here. You see this one right here? See the left and the right, how it's angled at the bench and very tall? Okay. So like this is like if you're sitting down on the bench, this is what it would look like. So they're very big, they're very strong, got a lot of wattage behind them, and they're angled at you and closer to you because they're mounted on the floor. That is the most ideal way to get more of the exposure to the short infrared wavelengths. The other way you know that a sauna company is taking their setup with power supply properly and investing is that the cabin temp, like the maximum temperature that the cabin can get to, right, on your thermostat, will be higher than the average, which is 140 degrees. Most infrared saunas get to 140 degrees. This one, I've heard from customers, you can do like 155. I've even heard 157 or higher, depending on how warm the room is that the sauna is inside of. So this does also get to a higher cabin temp. And the reason absolutely is because of these high watt short wave heaters. So in other words, if it's putting out enough wattage and they're spending more money with all their electrical components in their sauna and their output, you can tell inversely or reverse engineering by just knowing the maximum temperature of the sauna, right? So if another company is using shortwave heaters and it only gets to 140 degrees, just like a regular carbon infrared sauna, you see what I'm saying? That is something that you commonly do find. So you can go check right now and you'll see, oh yeah, they're using the short waves, but only gets to 140 max. Interesting, right? So was there really any reason to put them in there? So I believe the Amplify actually has the most superior designed hybrid on the market right now. Now there's also a lot of other superior aspects to the sauna. To not get into it, make a long video, there's actually several completely unique features to the sauna, but also just the company as a whole. So if you are looking for a really good price on this brand, I do offer the best pricing in the industry on Sunlighten. I do also sell 8 other brands of saunas, including also portable saunas, clean portable saunas, because there's a lot of not clean portable saunas as well. So you got to watch out. But if you have any questions on any other brands, you want me to do a brand comparison at all, I'm happy to do it. And again, you can always reach me anytime by my email.